Welcome to the bi-monthly International Women's Writing Guild Open Mic. I'm Kelly Dumar. I'm here to facilitate the open mic with you today with our wonderful feature of invited guests, 11 features, the contributors to, some of the contributors to the network produced Our Stories, Ourselves, Narratives from Black Women in Africa and America. And I'm going to be introducing all of these wonderful readers to you. They're each going to read one piece that was published in this beautiful anthology of writing. Before I introduce these writers to you, I just want to mention that the producer of this beautiful anthology, of course, was ultimately Michelle Miller, our executive director at the International Women's Writing Guild. Our quarterly newsletter is called Network, and it features the writing and publication announcements from our members. And we hope you enjoy the special edition, Our Stories, Ourselves, Narratives from Black Women in Africa and America, that was published February 2021. So Michelle wants to make sure to give a special thanks to IWWG member Morgan Lett, who suggested this edition during her final months in serving on our board of directors. And then she offers abundant gratitude to the board of directors and members and faculty and our production and design team, including Kelsey Day and Alexandra Chilakina, for their work on this issue. And she says, we're honored to bring women together from all over the world so we can learn from one another and write together. This edition was edited by Dr. Maya Vaughn and Wanjira Muthoni. And Wanjira is here with us today. And I want to welcome you, Wanjira, and say that I'm grateful that you're going to be our first reader. And I am actually looking for your bio in my handout. Sorting out 11 people is going to be a challenge, but I'm happy to do it. So let me introduce you now. Wanjira Gakuru Muthoni, PhD, is a creative writer from Kenya. She's published poetry and short stories aimed at sensitizing youth on various issues of importance to African societies, including gender issues and positive cultural practices. Recently retired, her dream is to write for her grandchildren about days gone by. Wanjira, if you would unmute and read for us, we're delighted to hear you and thank you for coming today. There you are. Okay. I'm going to spotlight you.
I hope you can hear me.
We can. There you are.
Yes, thank you very much for the invitation. The title of my poem is The Joys of Motherhood. I try to think with my brain, but can't make sense of anything. To speak with my mouth, but my tongue keeps rolling in all directions. My heart keeps beating ceaselessly in my chest. My eyes full of mist, just can't make sense of what they see. I try to taste with my tongue, but my taste buds have gone numb, all confused. They just won't communicate with my brain what they taste. Fearing the sweetness will turn sour, fearing it's all just a dream that I'm experiencing the sweetest of all sensations that ever existed. I try to make my heart beat less fast by biting my lips until they bleed. As I look at you, my 2-week-old baby, the magic of all life known and unknown. Oh, so beautiful, so captivating. How possible is it that you are part of me? My heart just won't stop beating, nor my teeth grating as my bladder fills up. I try to make my heart beat less fast by dancing on the spot, but it says the marathon of love is on, and a Kenyan heart has never failed. So I submit and let it go on beating, beating as the world champion I feel I am, even though somewhere I fear it will break into 1,000 little pieces. I try to steady my arms as I hold you in a tight embrace, my lovely one, as I insert one of my nipples in your tiny little mouth that nature opens by miracle, ready to suckle life and love mixed with the milk now flowing in plenty, droplets of milk flowing down my chest to my abdomen on the side not being suckled. I try to steady my feet as I walk with you in my arms for the very first time. The distance from the changing table to my bed suddenly seems really long, feels like 100-kilometer run for a beginner athlete with no training. My legs feel like they'll soon give way and cause disaster to you and me and the whole family. I try to steady my thoughts in order to understand this magic that is motherhood, but they run in all directions, singing love songs from all generations, reciting poetry in my grandmother's and my mother's jargon, now becoming mine. Poetry sending me messages from my ancestors, saying that now, at last, I matter. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Wanjira. I just want to remind everyone that, and everyone who's new here today, and for those who've come back, that we keep the chat room open throughout, and feel free to put the appreciative comments that you have for any writer or any reader into the chat room. And just remind the readers to check the chat room for anybody who might share a comment that they're not able to say out loud. Thanks, Wanjira. Thank you for going first. Thank you for that beautiful writing. And now I'm going to welcome Edith Adhiambo Osiro. If you would unmute, please, and I will find you and we will give you a spotlight. Yes, if you would just raise your hand, or you're unmuted, and I'm gonna ask anybody who you are. If you're, would everybody mute except for Edith, please? Good. Edith, wave your hand at me. I can't see you. We've got a wonderful crowd here. There you are. And
Sorry. Okay.
Here you go.
Here we go.
There you go. So welcome, Edith. I'm going to just give me a second. I've got your bio right here. There we are. Edith Adhiambo Osiro is a writer with a passion for all things words and an insatiable appetite for the art of storytelling. Born and bred in Kenya, she seeks to fit into a world of stories. She writes creative fiction and nonfiction, plays, and when the stage is right, acting. Welcome, and thank you for being here today.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to read my story, Sleep. Insomnia. Existence, funneled through fallopian tubes to the uterus. The amazing warmth therein insulates me from the shocks, goals, and beings. My heart shares her beat, and a dream whose language I wade in like a dolphin. The dream responds to my kicks and beats. She delights despite the heartburn that makes her an insomniac with naps to spare only in the blistering of sunlight. I sleep through the foreign flavors swimming in my sea. Later, I understand this sensation as December with all its festivities. In January, when sleep was heavy on her eyes, I was pushed out. The dreamers named me one born of evening, howling through my first interruption of sleep. My sedative was her second colostrum. From night I grew to night I come. I was bundled between arms of mother, father, and another dreamer. The gurgles, howls, and smells punctuated the end of their sleep. One night, 2 nights, a fortnight, my eyes lulled to the rocking and lullabies. I found light to see, sights to master, memories to form, thoughts to mention, and words to act on. The struggle to sleep, to return to sleep, weighs on the burdens of my dreamless world. Alarms. The lanes are marked and the roles are being defined. I play with dolls whose skin pales mine. Ring the alarm. I love racing my brother's milk carton tracks or missing a kick of the polythene football. Snooze the alarm. Laundry is to her as slashing the grass is to him. Reset the alarm. She is a heath mothered in submission to worldly expectations, an Eden from which Eve was cast. A Sheba I must be, reminded of sadly, as I watch my parents' marriage pivot between their alarms. Anziga I delight to chance upon, as my mother sets all our alarms when our father works far off. A Mekatilili whose shrill war cry against the chokehold was welcomed by her kind. Like a matriarch elephant guiding the herd to a memory of paths long ago traversed, Mother awakens me to an age where I can respond to alarms of school and games, of work and banks, of prayer and courts. The mythical sand that lulls to sleep whirls a dust devil of Femi versus Maski, the alarm that distorts the sleep from which a rib was borrowed to form a whole. Dreams. Deja vu has rekindled my wanderlust for a world mirrored past. Shut eyes give me a stone slab that I can etch on my drawings in the subconscious. Here the impossible gets a home. Like a barren woman who mothers a step grandchild that speaks freedom to Martin Luther's dreams. The mischievous too gets a home, like a damsel aspiring to the chiseled, bountiful chest of a warrior. The allure of dowry, pregnancy, aprons, and salaries lately seems to have ripped open the belly of a maggot-filled carcass that I cannot stand. Every choice is a debate that leads to war, and all I want is to dream sweetly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Edith. Please feel free to check the chat room for comments. And now I want to introduce to you our next reader, Dr. Christy Cruz. Christy, if you would please unmute. And I'm going to find you and give you a spot. There you are. Spotlight. There you are. Welcome.
Hey.
Okay, and now let me just give 2 seconds. I'm going to find your bio. They're not alphabetical. So, but anyway, Dr. Christy Cruz is an author, educator, and social justice advocate. In 2019, she released her first book, It Don't Hurt Now, My Journey of Self-Love and Self-Acceptance. Her poetry and self-portrait photography has been published in Remington Review, Gallery and Studio Arts Journal, and Sunspot Literary Journal. I believe that's forthcoming, but you can clarify that for us. And she has also been published, her poetry and prose, in the IWWG Anthology, published called Heels into Soil. And she can put the links to any of her work, as everyone else can, into the chat room. Christy, thanks for reading with us today. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Kelly. So this piece I wrote for the anthology is titled, This is America. The immigrant yells, "Go back where you came from." The descendant of enslaved peoples responds, "Where I came from the womb of a Black woman, a sacred, hallowed place with power and energy vibrating on a level parallel to the Creator. fashioned as the carrier of endless possibilities. I came from the Garden of Eden, naked, natural, created in his image, the first woman. I came from the heavens, the firmament, swathed in stars, planets, and the moon. I came from love songs, soulful, with melodies and chords and strings on lutes. I came from the elements, fire, wind, water, earth, space, and time, explosive as volcanic eruptions, overpowering as tsunamis, entwined to the universe like the moon to the tides. Go back where I came from. I am where I came from. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christy. And now let us welcome Regina Greathouse. Regina, if you would just give me a wave and unmute, if you can, unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. So I'm going to just introduce you briefly with your bio. It's good to see you. Thank you for coming to read here with us today. Regina Greathouse is an African-American poet and self-published writer from Montgomery, Alabama. Her inspiration for writing came from finding an outlet for certain life experiences. The author's belief is that when one has certain God-given gifts, that they cannot only encourage others, but also oneself. Welcome, Regina.
Thank you. Hello to everybody. And the title of the poem that I contributed to the anthology is called Queen. The melanin queen wears her crown, dominating the burdens that fill her life, letting the light within her soul shine, maintaining peace when chaos is around, knowing she's needed in the world of demand, where others find comfort in her strength, not knowing her struggles, not knowing her pain, not knowing what battles lie within. Yes, she gets burdened, tired, and weary. Heavy the crown feels upon her head. She could give up and fall to the ground, but she lifts her head instead. For she is a Nubian queen, melanin flowing throughout her veins, willing to cross rivers for all those she loves, letting her faith and wisdom guide her through inner strain. Knowing her presence is a gift inspires her to stand, demanding respect while showing dignity. Her crown gives her a purpose of I am, for she is strong, she is brave, she is willing to speak her mind, saluting the incomparable Black woman, for she is one of a kind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Regina. Thank you. Now, alrighty, up next, we have Stella the Poet. And Stella, if you would unmute, please. There you are. There you are. Welcome. Stella the Poet pays homage to ancestors. Her poignant references aid in the visual and visceral nature of her poems. You can dance, sing, cry, and weep on a page and take others with you. Truth and Ida's Brew is her collection of poetry that is due out in February 2021. And there it is. And she will be putting a link to it in the chat room for us. Thank you so much. We're so glad to hear you here today. Stella the Poet, take it away.
Thank you. The rage is real. Series. Truthfully, this is a series. Racism Part 2, and this is the short version. The rage is real. Real enough to let emboldened liars, Jim Crow, and blackface know the jig is up. Real enough to alert assaulters, molesters, and rapists, time's up. Real enough to see dreams of my fathers strung up, dreams of my mothers chained up, dreams of my brothers locked up, and my sister's dreams deferred, forgetting they come from the land of Nzinga, the African queen, not from the land of Barbie. Rage knows white and wealth are not supreme. Privilege is to be a human. Parents, can you see? Anger, ignorance, and fear get planted in me. Where does rage go? A chain gang, a foot train, hiding in 400 years sold as human cargo, in 800 miles, hunted by hounds, in marshes and swamps, on the Underground Railroad? Is in the anguish of grandmothers raped for life by master, while Miss Ann sits knitting in the parlor, acting unbothered. The rage is real. It's in the innocence of Trayvon Martin. It's in the demise of George Floyd and Eric Gardner. It's in the police killings of Tamir Rice, Freddie Gray, Michael Brown, Corey Jones, and Philando Castile. It's in Joel Johnson, a human being with special needs, shot on Philly streets, just begging for quarters. It's in the mysterious snuffing out of Sandra Bland's vibrant life. It's in the killing of Breonna Taylor. She woke up from bed just to be murdered. The rage is about her and so many unnamed others. Google Black man murdered and you see Black man murdered in the backyard. Black man killed in his apartment. Black man murdered in Jasper. Black man murdered in Mississippi. Black man murdered in his garage. Black man murdered while jogging. Too many murdered by police to give each one any justice. The rage is real. Denial of the pain is too. DNA inherited is me and you. It's unbroken limbs on the family tree. It's the trauma in you and the trauma in me. It's teen rapes, veteran fathers. It's in the children of bipolar mothers. It's in epic suicide rates. It's inherited in the foster care and criminal justice systems. It's in ghetto education and greenhouse gas emissions. Rage festers when untreated. It grows for its pain and fear suppressed, then explodes as out of control anger. Rage is a cry for action. Healing rage starts with loving compassion. Look in the mirror. It starts with your reflection. It's not about controlling anger. It's about accepting the truth, teachings, and growth rage offers. Outrage means when there is a knee on the neck and bullets in the back, there are few options. Rage is real, but hopefully it's only an unwanted house guest. Learn from it quickly. It doesn't go easily. It demands attention and can make a big mess. Thank you.
Thank you, Stella. A lot of comments for you in the chat room. Thank you. Candace Williams.
Good afternoon. I'll be reading.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Let me introduce you.
Okay.
I'm coming there. Okay, Candace Williams began her career in marketing communications. Currently, she writes short fiction and essays in an expansive range of genres. During the pandemic, Candace completed a diverse collection entitled Very Short Stories for Very Busy People. Her objective, capture readers' imaginations without consuming too much of their time. Welcome and thanks for coming today, Candace.
Thank you, Kelly. I will be reading Reverend Culbert's Daughter. Oh my goodness, Candace, girl, where have you been? We haven't seen you in ages. Honey, you know Candace. This is Reverend Culbert's daughter.
Immediately, I had the attention of strangers passing by, who in their curiosity looked me over carefully, trying to decide if I fit the description. By most assessments, I do not look much like a reverend's daughter. But there I was in a Harlem hospital, exchanging hugs with a woman who could only be a Southern Baptist, and shaking hands with her husband, the deacon. Acutely aware of my audience, whose respect I'd done nothing to earn, I beamed ever so proudly and reveled in the status. At that moment, as in all like moments before it, I became something good. For without any contribution on my part, I had inherited a legacy far more important than worldly possessions, one that nobody could ever take away. It was somehow symbolic of God's grace, bestowed freely and indiscriminately upon the just and unjust. In those few seconds, the mistakes of a lifetime faded away as I returned to a state of innocence and hid like a baby, comfortable in the security of my Father's goodness. For as long as I can remember, it has been that way. Yet it took the maturity of 35 years to fully appreciate my inheritance. Of all the adjectives that describe what I am, and the many appellations that reference what I do, not one comes close to instilling the pride that stems only from being my Father's daughter. It occurs to me now that the content of his character remains uncontested, and his righteousness is apparent to all who know him. How fortuitous that I should share in this honor simply by virtue of association. With sadness, I acknowledge that the day will come when few remember his special presence. My works will have to stand on their own, subject to the scrutiny of an unforgiving world, yet answerable only to a merciful God. For if my earthly father has taught me nothing else, I am aware that salvation is personal, and I alone am accountable for me. But in the meantime, I claim my irrevocable right to be known as Reverend Culbert's daughter. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, Candace. Thank you. Next up, we have Marie Johnson Ladson. If you would unmute, Marie. Marie. And say hello. There you are. There you are. Okay, welcome, Marie. Marie Johnson Ladson is a writer of poetry, prose, and short stories from New Jersey. She has a passion to find beauty, fiction, and reality in the world we live in. She loves to do photography, listen to music, and has been published in Ben Speaks and Spill Words. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow writers, guests, and the IWWG staff. I am honored today to recite my poem, I Hear Your Cry. I was inspired to write it because of the tragic events that has happened regarding Americans that have been killed unjustly. There have been a lot, but what especially bothered me was the killing of George Floyd on May the 25th, 2020 in Minneapolis, Minnesota in the United States. He was accused of buying a pack of cigarettes with a counterfeit $20 bill by a store clerk and was killed in police custody. A police officer held George down with his knee on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. George told the police several times, I cannot breathe. He cried out several times. He said, Mama, Mama. The bystanders asked the cops to stop, but the cop would not. And he held his knee on George's neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. I Hear Your Cry was also written to let the world know that I, as a Black mother, I say to Black families, I hear your cry. This shook my soul, and know the deep hurt you feel when you know that your loved one has been attacked unjustly by whomever. Here it is. I hear your cry. Black children, Black mothers and fathers, Black brothers and sisters, Black families, I hear your cry. You are belittled, you are degraded, you are fearful, you are frustrated, you are hurting, you are killed. I hear your cry. You feel angry, you feel discouraged, you feel helpless, you feel hopeless, you feel offended, you feel mistreated. I hear your cry. You demand action, you demand change, you demand fairness, you demand equality, you demand justice, you demand opportunities. I hear your cry. Stay alert, stay encouraged, stay in control, stay hopeful, stay peaceful, stay strong. I hear your cry. You are great, you are overcomers, you are powerful, you are tough, you are unique, you are warriors. I hear your cry. That is it. I feel that there needs to be more compassion to fellow human beings and more consequences to those that abuse their authority, because Black lives matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Aisha Mason. I'm going to, if you would unmute Aisha. There you are. Welcome. Thanks for coming here to read today. Aisha Mason's writing is intimate, raw, and spiritual. She weaves together the personal and communal, spiritual and political, the relationship between love and struggle. She is always asking, how do we heal? How do we love? How do we defeat injustice and create beauty in our lives and the world? Welcome, Aisha.
Thank you so much. The name of the poem that I'm reading today is Burning the House Down. When I put my pen to paper, did I know I'd burn my house down? Did I know revealing truth to self lit fire to the page? Did I know digging into a buried past, a protected present, probing my emotions, questioning beliefs would set a match to kindling? My words set my world ablaze, their sound piercing the sky, air bursting into flame, each piece of my life consumed in fire's wake. Incendiary words, a golden torch dashing illusions, the falsehoods I'd been living, snapping the ties of all that bound me. My words were truth ignited, a laser slashing through my dreams, words burning down my house, fire lighting a path through the black night. In the midst of structures burning, I found my love aflame and shining. Love seeding charred earth within me, tears watering seeds buried deep in my heart. Starry night wrapping itself around me, white sparks dancing in the air, Ash falls, I fall lightly on soft earth. What will remain of me when daylight comes? Something real and true, I hope. Yes, pure love, I pray. Fire in my heart burning bright. My soul's radiance lights my way. Thank you. Thank you.
Aisha, thank you so much. All right, now we have Susan Mwangi. And Susan, are you here?
Yes, I am.
You are. There you are. Are you going to be on video or not? You're Susan.
Under wraps.
You're under wraps. Fine. Okay, Susan, thank you for coming and reading. Susan Mwangi is a Kenyan storyteller with a deep interest in all things creative. She enjoys creating and consuming art, crafts, and literature. Words fascinate her above all else, their power to form, misinform, deform, reform, and transform minds and hearts. Welcome, Susan.
Thank you very much. My poem is titled, I Am Not, I Will Not. My words barely mean much to you, but I will speak up anyway. I have acted deaf, dumb, and numb for far too long. I have turned the other cheek one too many times. Seeing myself through your eyes has seen me shut my own. The weight of your contempt has pounded heavily on me. I have lied to us just so that I can be with you. I have recreated myself in your image, and I hate what I see. I shudder at the sight of the woman I have allowed myself to become. For my truth to live, breathe, and have its day, this is where I get off. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. And next, we have Amwafwa Saifa Cecilia. I know you're here. There you are. There you are. I'm going to see if, oh yeah, I'm going to spotlight you. Okay, excellent. Amafwa Saifa Cecilia is a Ghanaian from Kwahu in the Eastern region. She is a prolific writer, blogger, and teacher. Her versatility in poetry and prose has won her many dedicated followers on her website, which she will put in the chat room. She believes in writing to impact souls in any way possible. She's the author of Poetry Excursion on an African Mind and the critically acclaimed Ashawo Diaries. Welcome, Amafwa.
Thank you very much. My poem for tonight is entitled, I Was Born. I was born. I was born a seedling to pose as a tree, to feed a dozen mouths like manna with a deviation of long lasting. I was born. I was born a spear in a prayer clenched palms, seen as a nuisance and grew a blessing after weathering storms. I was born. I was born a hidden rainbow in the thunder and grew a little wonder whose surrender was sought by villains who always turned fans. I was born. I was born to a world of passion, my blood a working trouble, my bones malleable but unbending to terror, to help when wars long unwon before I was born. I was born a trophy filled, a bully target among hyenas, a solution among problems. And now I live a miracle is forgotten, making me glad that I was born to lead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Amafua. And now I am looking for Greta Seshita. Greta, I know you are here. You'll unmute.
Yes, I have.
Excellent. Just give me a wave. I'm having a hard time seeing your face. I know you're here. Got too many screens going on. Greta. Can you wave? I'm not seeing you. There you are. Okay. Thank you. There you are. Okay. So Reverend Greta Seshita is author of a CD and manual entitled Calling in the Circle, Peace and Power Through Prayer and Meditation, Journal for the Journey with Transformational Signposts and GPS, Guiding Principles of Spirit, Poems to Wake Up to, and soon to be released, Kitchen School. Thanks for coming, Greta. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Kelly. The poem I'm reading is called, Who Are You? Aren't you the one who gave birth to the babe? The one who locked the child in a cage? Aren't you the one who crucified him? Aren't you the one who freed the slave? Who came here in chains? Who drank the Kool-Aid? Weren't you the one who was first to shine, to sin, to surrender, to serve time? Weren't you the one who was last to pardon, to condemn, to love, to hate, embrace, to rape? Weren't you the one who was first and last to curse, to bless, to take the best and leave the rest, to save the day, to sing the blues and break the rules? Ain't you the one who was lost, then found, laid in the ground? The one who parted the sea, raised the banner, burned their village to the ground? Tell the truth. Ain't you the one who cut a deal with the devil, found a cure for the virus? Ain't you the one to steal, to heal, to sing, to shout, to let peace out of the bag? Aren't you the one to shine, to fall and blame it all on fate? I think you are the one. Thank you.
Thank you, Greta.